Every day I wake up with a heavy heart, like a stone weighing down my soul. The world sees me as a princess, but I feel like just a woman who's lost her way. I dream of the day I can simply be Diana, but I fear that day may never come.
Diana Spencer, a princess whose name echoes with admiration around the world. But has anyone ever stopped to think that her fame was just the result of one choice she made at 18? In 1981, Diana married Prince Charles, and the world was swept off its feet by the couple. But was it the marriage itself that gave her this overwhelming popularity, something she could never have achieved without the title of the future queen? Before the wedding, Diana was just a shy, ordinary girl from an aristocratic family who'd failed her exams twice and never finished college. She wasn't rich. The Earl Spencer title and the family estate were passed down only to the male heir, her brother Charles. Diana could have easily stayed on the outskirts of high society, a simple girl who struggled to hold down a job. She was constantly searching, working as a nanny, a preschool assistant, a dance instructor, and even cleaning for her sister. To the public, she seemed like the perfect girl, but behind the scenes, she was trying to figure out her place in the world. So what drew her to Prince Charles? Was it love? Or was it the realization that this marriage was her chance to completely change her life? It seemed like fate was pushing Diana toward the royal family. Her family estate was right next to the royal residence, and her grandmother was close to the Queen Mother. Right place, right time. Diana caught Prince Charles's eye, and soon rumors started swirling about the prince's new girl. But this wasn't the fairy tale everyone imagined. Prince Philip pressured Charles to do the right thing and marry Diana to protect her reputation. And though they barely knew each other, a few months later, the wedding became a reality. After the wedding, Diana hoped for a happy life, but was quickly hit by reality. Charles was in love with Camilla Parker Bowles, a relationship that had already lasted 9 years. Diana knew about this. She understood that Charles didn't love her the way she wanted. Diana herself struggled with showing wisdom. She was jealous and gave Camilla cruel nicknames, even calling her a Rottweiler for latching onto Charles like a dog with a bone. But through all this drama, Diana could never figure out why she was always losing to Camilla. There was a massive gap between Charles and Diana, in age, interests, and how they viewed the world. With nearly a 13-year age difference, they needed to find common ground. But Diana thought Charles should come down to her level instead of her rising up to his. She didn't try to get to know him better, understand his hobbies, or befriend his circle. Her dislike for Charles's spiritual interests and lifestyle only widened the gap. She couldn't be the woman who listened and supported her husband the way Camilla did. On the surface, Diana seemed gentle and vulnerable, but she had a dramatic personality that flared up during tough times. She famously threw herself down the stairs while pregnant, and her theatrical suffering to catch Charles's attention became the stuff of legend in royal circles. While these actions built up her victim image, the real Diana in these moments only managed to push those around her away. After having her children, she fell into postpartum depression and started self-harming to get attention. But these displays were something Charles couldn't understand or accept. Diana often said that during the early years of her marriage, she struggled with bulimia. Overeating, followed by making herself sick, was her way of dealing with stress and self-esteem issues. These behaviors scared and alienated Charles. It was a clear sign of Diana's struggle to handle her internal battles and her constant need to be seen, whatever the cost. Being married to Charles didn't stop Diana from having relationships of her own. The most infamous of her lovers was James Hewitt, who was often rumored to be Prince Harry's real father. Side-by-side comparisons of Charles and Hewitt only added to the gossip. Harry's red hair and charming personality made him look more like the riding instructor than the Prince of Wales. And while biographers count 5 official lovers and more than 6 rumored flings, Diana's affairs cast a shadow not just on her own reputation, but on that of the royal family as well. James Hewitt wasn't one to miss a chance to profit from his affair with Diana. He co-wrote a book, spilling all the details of their relationship, not holding back on the juicy bits. This move shocked the public and revealed the true nature of the man Diana once loved. In the end, her affairs, her lovers, and Hewitt's candid revelations only heightened the tension between Diana and the royal family, adding fuel to the fire of scandals that rocked the world. Diana had a knack for stealing the spotlight. She performed on stage at Covent Garden in a semi-sheer outfit, causing a scandal that had the audience buzzing more about her than about Prince Charles. And who could forget when she stole the show at a White House reception, dancing rock and roll with John Travolta and outshining not only her husband but also President Reagan and the First Lady. Every time Diana stepped out in public, it was a show, and her daring outfits, like red stockings and bold moves, only fed the media frenzy. On November 24, 1995, Diana gave a tell-all interview to the BBC that sent shockwaves around the world. She candidly spoke about her troubled marriage with Charles, her mental health struggles, bulimia, and even her infidelity. At the time, this was seen as an act of desperation. Diana called herself the Queen of Hearts, but openly admitted she didn't see herself as the country's queen. This brutal honesty was likely a form of revenge against Charles and his inner circle, who, as she claimed, tried to tarnish her name and make her life difficult. After the interview, Queen Elizabeth summoned Diana and a divorce became inevitable. Diana walked away with her fortune, £17 million and an additional £700,000 annual allowance. However, she also lost her title, Her Royal Highness, putting her at risk of falling into public obscurity. Without her title, Diana faced the harsh reality of a new life where her status became less certain. After the divorce, Diana began dating Pakistani heart surgeon Hasnat Khan, and she even considered converting religions to marry him. But when that relationship ended, her next partner was Egyptian billionaire Dodi Al-Fayed. Diana even let her sons William and Harry bond with Dodi, which raised serious concerns for the royal family. The idea of the future heirs to the British throne potentially becoming stepchildren to a Muslim billionaire was seen as a real threat to the monarchy and its traditions. Her summer fling with Dodi and their getaway on the French Riviera quickly became headline news. Was Diana's death in a car crash in Paris a planned act, or just a tragic twist of fate? We may never know the answer. But one thing's for sure, her death brought relief to the royal family. No longer was she the black sheep of the monarchy, and her complicated story ended in that tunnel. The whole world mourned at her funeral, but questions about her life and true character will remain forever. Her image as the Queen of Hearts will live on in history, but perhaps behind that image was a far more complex and conflicted person.